Schnauzer's tall. Hi, this is Sally Morgan, physical therapist, craniosacral therapist, and Tellington T-Touch practitioner for animals and people. This is Tristan. He's a Corgi, and this is another episode of Conversations with a Corgi. And we're here with part 2 of my interview with my mom, Sally Morgan, also. And we lost reception earlier, so sorry to interrupt that broadcast unexpectedly. So we'll go back to where we were asking my mom about how she felt when her daughters finally got a horse.
I was very happy. I enjoyed the horse as much as they did. Our very first horse we knew nothing about, so we ended up getting a large pony named Spooky, a white pony, and we found out later that she was very old, probably in her mid-30s. But the first week we had her, all three of us were riding her because we just all enjoyed her so much and we had such a nice place to ride. And a week later, we decided we better get another horse.
Judy wanted a hamster and you didn't want to get her a hamster. How did you know you needed a horse, not a hamster?
Well, I knew we needed more than one horse because we couldn't keep all three of us riding this poor little pony. She was getting very exhausted.
And do you want to tell them about how you felt about my horse, Goblin?
Well, Sally picked her out. We decided we got a much younger horse, a very young horse, in fact, one that was very green and had not been ridden very much at all. And
Chestnut thoroughbred mare, always the first choice for a first horse.
And she was named Goblin. So we had Goblin and Spooky. And Sally rode Goblin and Judy rode Spooky. And then sooner or later, we ended up at a place where they had lots of horses. And so we borrowed other people's horses so that all of us could go riding.
And did you ever take Goblin out for a ride?
No.
Why not?
I don't think I ever rode Goblin. Well, I was a very inexperienced rider. In fact, I had hardly ever ridden at all. And so I didn't feel comfortable at all to ride Goblin. Although I did enjoy riding Spooky.
Well,
she was nice and slow.
As I recall, Goblin had numerous behavior problems, one of which was feeding time issues, and she got very upset with you one day.
Yes, I got a little too close to her when I was feeding her, and I turned my back, and I felt her teeth in my back, and she took a bite.
She was very unhappy with my mom. So then we got different horses. How did you feel about them? What did we get?
Well, we found out that they were really not show horses, and that by that time we had moved back to New Jersey, and that's when we decided we had a little more experience, and we knew some people that knew a little bit more about what type of horse we should buy, and so then we did get horses that we could. That they could show and could actually get some ribbons with them.
That's right. Judy had a retired show pony, and I had a 3-year-old chestnut Arabian. Again, not trained. Did you ever ride Boki, Judy's horse?
Yes, I did.
Did you like him? He was pretty quiet.
Boki was good, yeah.
He was another 14-hand, lovely pony.
I think they knew when they had an inexperienced rider on him that they had to be a little quieter.
And how did you end up with a Schnauzer? What other kinds of dogs have you had in your adult life?
Well, after Toby, we had a couple of dogs that were hunting dogs because my husband thought he wanted to go rabbit hunting.
Bird hunting.
Or bird hunting.
Not rabbits, oh my God.
But I don't think he ever really, he never shot any, or he wasn't a very good shot to begin with, but I don't think he ever got any. But we had a couple of pretty bird dogs for a while. And then after her sister went to college and became a veterinarian, she had Dobermans. And so she thought it would be good for me to have a Doberman. And I had one called Athena, a red Doberman. And she was wonderful, wonderful dog, really big dog. And I bred her, and she had 9 puppies.
What was your favorite thing about Athena?
Athena was a very loyal, very, very good dog. Very well behaved. I liked everything about her, and we had her for 14 years, which is pretty good for such a large dog. But she finally got to the point where she couldn't get up and down the steps to get in and out of the house, and I couldn't lift her. She weighed over 100 pounds, and so she made it to 14 years, which was really good.
So how'd you end up with a Schnauzer? That's a pretty different dog from a Doberman, sort of.
After she passed away, my husband decided, was mainly the fact that we couldn't lift her to get her up and down the steps, that maybe we should get a little smaller dog. So I decided I wanted a medium-sized dog, and I think Judy kind of led me to the direction of a standard Schnauzer. I think there was another one I was thinking about, but I can't think of the name of it now. But we decided that...
Not a Cocker Spaniel again?
No. Well, I thought they were too small, and we wanted one around 50 pounds. I think Shotzi's 52 pounds.
Perfect size.
And before Shotzi, we had one that looked exactly like her, and that one was Sparky. And we had Sparky for 12 and a half years, and she ended up dying with cancer. She got cancer in a toe that my other daughter removed, and then the cancer spread throughout her body and finally up into her mouth. And so she died at 12 and a half, and Shotzi here is now 14 and still going really strong. She eats very healthy food and has a very good life.
How long has Shotzi been on a raw diet?
Actually, only about the last 2 years. And before that, she ate canned food. She's never had dry kibble.
I remember when we had to make you switch from grocery store food to a good canned variety that we were advocating for a while, and that was pretty tough. Are you happy with how vibrant your dog is on the new food?
Yes, she likes the raw food very much, and she's a very, very healthy dog.
And how do you feel about being a grandmother to a Corgi?
We always loved the Corgis.
Except for their hair.
Yes.
How many vacuum cleaners have you had to replace after I visit with Corgi hair everywhere?
Yes, their hair is, they shed, and the Spaniels shed a lot too. But, and Shotzi doesn't shed much at all. So, but she's high maintenance.
You like the no shedding?
But we get her groomed about every 4 to 6 weeks, so she does not shed.
Do you remember when I brought Tristan home on Christmas Eve unexpectedly?
Cutest little puppy. What a Christmas Eve present he was.
You were cute, Biscuit. You were tiny.
Yeah, he was adorable. He was so cute. And in fact, Shotzi was also a Christmas present. I got her the week before Christmas.
I remember giving you a stuffed Schnauzer because I didn't know yet that you were getting a real one.
Yeah.
And tell me about your other pets here at Judy's house. What have you got outside?
Oh, outside we have 2 mini horses, Lightning and Lucky. And Lucky was my granddaughter's horse. She got her as a 2-year-old, and she showed her, and her mom taught her to drive. And when I turned 70, Gwen gave...
Only 10 years ago.
Yeah, Gwen gave her to me for my birthday.
I thought it was when you were 65 or something.
I thought it was 70, but it could have been 65.
At some major milestone, Gwen gave the pony to you.
We were at the Barnesboro Inn for dinner, and Gwen gave her to me for my birthday. Gwen had another horse that she was showing, and she just didn't have time to show both of them. So then
she knew who you love, that little white pony, that little mini.
and I really liked driving her. And I took her to quite a few shows. For about 5 years, I showed her a lot.
And you also brought her to some nursing homes, too.
We took her to a nursing home at Christmas time. She went in the living room and in front of the fireplace and walked around and let everybody pet her. And
she's been in this house, in Judy's old house.
Yes. She's
a house pet for you, but
yes.
She's even hairier than a Corgi.
Yes, she is. But she's 19 years old now.
Still a young spry mini.
And she has a companion out there with her, which is Lightning. And he he also drives, and but she's the boss. She's the mayor, and she's the boss.
And what about your other feathered friends out there?
8 chickens out there, and I've never raised chickens as pets before. On a farm, we had, a chicken house with 100 chickens in it, but we now have 8 chickens, and
what are their names?
They all have names. They're of flowers, and I have light red ones that are called red sex, I believe, and they're say daffodil and daisy and lily, and then we have 2 black and white ones. And
Hyacinth, my favorite one.
Yes, Hyacinth, and what was the other one's name? I forget what I called it.
Lilac?
Lilac. It's Hyacinth and Lilac.
The black
yes.
and white one's got my favorite names.
And then we have Rhode Island Reds, which are the biggest, more aggressive ones. And those are...
I think they're outgoing.
They're Petunia and Rosie and... who's the other one?
Daffodil.
No,
she's
Daffodil's.
a red one.
That's the light red one. See, Petunia, Rosie, and... what's the other one's name? I can't think of it.
Geranium.
It's another flower.
The trouble is you can hardly tell them apart to know which one gets which name, so it's hard to remember, but I know which one's Hyacinth.
It's taken them a while to start laying eggs, and we started out with just 1 egg, and then we got to 2, and today we got 6. So we have all but 2 of them now are laying eggs, and really nice little eggs.
And then you live here with how many Cavaliers, English toys, and Cocker Spaniels of Judy's?
7. Judy has 7, and 4 cats.
And 4 kitties. So you still live with a lot of animals.
Yes, we have lots.
How is it that both of your daughters have a career in animals? How do you feel about that?
It's fine with me. The more the merrier.
Well, I think that Judy and I are both grateful to you for teaching us how wonderful the world of animals are and for teaching us how to respect them and understand them in a way that's really special. So we're both grateful to you for that.
Well, my parents loved animals too, so.
Oh, that's right. Guess who had a chicken? Your father had a pet chicken.
Had a pet chicken, a rooster, and whenever he would tell the rooster to crow, he would crow. And he would crow to the point where he lost his voice and would just fall over. He was so exhausted.
I remember him sitting on the TV tray watching Grandpop eat dinner when he was having chicken for dinner.
I just remember the other chicken's name is Tulip.
Tulip. Right.
Tulip, Petunia, and Rosie are the Rhode Island Reds. Yeah.
And Grandpop's chicken was Clarence,
That
the
was
rooster.
Clarence. Right, Clarence.
He had some little, pretty bantams, too, with some fluffy feathers on their legs for a while.
Yes, he did.
Fancy chickens.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're enjoying your chicken eggs, and it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope people have found out some interesting things about my mother's life that has influenced me and my sister, and, you can see she's still living with plenty of animals.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, it's been fun, and we haven't lost connection on this one. And now we'll go out with the Corgi music. And it is thanks to my mom that I even play the flute. She went off to school in 4th grade and came home with a flute and said, "This is what you're going to play," which wasn't my choice. But it worked out.
What would your choice have been?
I wanted to play the clarinet, but the braces didn't allow it.
Oh.
Because my mom was such a good clarinet player.
At one time. Now you're a star, Shucks.
You are always a star schnauzer. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on Sunday morning for another episode of Conversations with a Corgi.